Shadowing, their redemption. In Australia, dairy cows and calves together in a paddy is a rare sight. Calves are usually removed from their mothers from as young as a day old. They no longer need it once their birth triggers milk production. They're called baby calves. We generally think about baby calves as being no replacement calves, and what we need by them is calves that are born in a dairy farm that are in excessive requirements, so they're not gonna be big milking cows in the future. And they're usually male, but there are some female cows as well, and they are under 30 days old. They're not worthing the mother. They usually destined for early water. And the number each year runs to almost 500,000. They would be processed and avatar early age between 5 and 30 days of age would be the definition of baby calf, or some don't even have that option, and the euthanize humanity and farm in the first day of life. The Misbona farm euthanasia method include mating balls, shooting, and being hit with a blunt instrument. Victorian dairy farmer Regine Pels says everyone wants a better way. A whole idea of these little calves we call going through the yuck process, going on the big long truck ride, going through the other two. Yes, it's not just pretty. From nobody likes it. I think they just see it as only solution. But solutions are on the way, so stick with me. The dairy industry knows it's a reputational time bombs. A sleeper for decades, shocking images on social media have prompted action. Dairy Australian veterinarian Andy Hancock says doing nothing isn't an option. It is something that could turn around that bite us. We saw something happening in Tasmania with an avatar that got shut down. Thereafter, some footage was released at the end of last year. And so these things can happen. We need to show to the community and to regulators that we are doing something that would be moving the needle on this. One more. In Australia, Dairy cows and calves together in a paddock is a rare sight. Calves are usually removed from their mothers from as young as a day old. They are no longer needed once their birth triggers milk production. They're called bobby calves. We generally think about bobby calves as being no replacement calf, and what we need by this calves are the born in a dairy farm. They are an excessive requirement, so they're not going to become milking cows in the future. And they're usually male, but something female calves as well. And they're only 3 days old. They're not with the mother, and they are usually destined for early slaughter. And the number each year run to almost 500,000. They will be processed. In the abattoir, early age between 5 and 30 days of age will be the definition of body calf, or some don't even have that option and they're euthanasia humanly on farm in the first step of life. Permissible on-farm euthanasia method includes pneumatic bull shooting and being hit with a blunt instrument. Victorian dairy farmer Rushing Pell says everyone wants a better way. The whole idea of this little calf we call going through the yard process, going on the big long truck ride, going through the over. Yeah, it's just not pretty from many angles. Nobody likes it. I think they just see it as the only solution. One more, original speed. In Australia, dairy cows and calves together in a paddock is a rare sight. Calves are usually removed from their mother from as young as a day old. They no longer need it once they first trigger milk production. They are called bobby calves. We generally think about bobby calves as being an employment calf when we make these calves as born in a dairy farm, and they are excessive requirements, so they're not going to become milky cows in the future. And they're usually milked something afar as well, and they're under 3 days old. They're not with the mother, and they are usually destined for early slaughter. And the number each year runs to almost 500,000. They will be processed in an entire early as between 5 to 30 days of age. It will be definition of bobby calf, or some that have an option that use ancestry from the first of life. Permissible on-farm euthanasia method, including pneumatic bull shooting and being hit with a blunt instrument. Victoria dairy farmer Rushing Pell says everyone wants a better way. The whole idea of this little car we go going through the yard process, going on the big long traceway, going to the upper. Yeah, it's just not really from the angle. Nobody likes it. I think they just see it as the only solution. But solutions are on the way, so stick with me. The dairy industry knows its a reputation of time bomb. A sleeper for decades, shocking images on social media have affirmed an action. Dairy Australian veterinarian Andy Hancock says doing nothing is an option. It is something that could turn around by us. We saw something happen in Tasmania with abattoirs got shut down and were released at the end of last year. And so these things can happen. We need to show to the community and to regulators that we're doing something that will be moving needle on this. Last year, security facilities in the Tasman abattoir showed cars and sheep being handled roughly and standing incorrectly. Some appeared conscious at the time of death. The state's only abattoir licensed to slaughter calves for export TQM had this bobby calf license suspended, forcing farmers to kill calves on the farm. 2 years ago, the industry national policy and advocacy body, Australian Dairy Farmers, released its Selfless Calf Policy Task Force recommendations. It called for an end to return on farm euthanasia of viable calves and set a target of all babies being a value market chain by 2035.